G'day guys, welcome to another episode of Raised Rails. Today we're going to be looking at some wiring, and you might call this our technical series. Last one we put these rails in here, the catenary system, and I've tweaked that up a bit since, so just making it all straight. I've put some paint on the poles. If you remember, they were white. Our up and go straws. So they're all the paint's dry. We're ready to do the wiring now. So it's a little bit tricky, a little bit involved, although some people wouldn't say that. People that like wiring, I don't like wiring, so I'm going to say it's pretty involved. But it's really only 3 wires actually. But I'm going to test one of these little things here, which I spoke about in the last video, and I called it a triac. It's not a triac. I'll correct myself there, it's actually a transformer. So almost like a triac, not to be confused. So the triac is more roundish and it's got 3 pins like that, but they're offset. And so these transformers you can actually buy in Jaycar, about $3 or $4 or $5, I'm not sure exactly how much. But I found this one in an old radio. So I managed to unsolder it and get it out, and I think it's still good. So we're going to be testing that today. I think it's good. It's the right numbers, and the numbers are, for the viewers at home, I've got some stuff written down here. This is a 7805 resistor, and it's I think it's not variable, but it's variable on the intake. It's 0 to 30 volts in, and it's supposed to put 5 volts out, regulated 5, so regardless of the power in, 5 volts out. And we need that so that when we're operating, because we're going to suck the power off the track, and the track power could be anything, could be 6 volts, could be 16 volts, and if that's the case, we need that to be maintained at 5, even though it's 16 volts. So this apparently will do that. So we're going to test that. Otherwise, we have got our an old-fashioned way of doing things with an old speed controller, DC speed controller, off some of our radio control stuff. And we have power in and the lower power 3.8 volts coming from the radio control plug. It goes into your radio gear, which you can have up to 6 volts actually with that. 4 to 6 volts will run that. And I've tested this, it's actually 3.8, so it's just on the margin, but it's enough to power the LEDs. So that's not really a poor man's way of doing it, but it's the old-fashioned way, or a way that I worked out, my old-fashioned way. If this little thing here works, then this will replace that, is what we're going to try and do today. And again, we're testing this today, one I found down the shed, didn't cost any money. Again, if it works, I'll go to Jayco and I'll buy a half a dozen of these, and we'll be using these more around the place for our lighting. So let's see how it works. First thing we've got to do, get some sandpaper, find out where we're going to take our power off the track, and it's only one power we have to solder onto the track. The other power is coming off the top, off the catenary, through the stick, through the stem. Power comes down here, you can't see that, but on my end of the stick's down here, the copper. And we've got to find out which is negative and positive as well. So we'll need the multimeter to do that. We've got to turn the track power on, and we find out we want to put the track power also at about 4 volts, so we can test the lighting as well. We're going to use these lights here, which are our standard lights that we use everywhere, so road lights I suppose. And these are actually movable. You can bend these a little bit on top. They're sort of set, they've used a weak glue in there, but you can break the glue and then you can move them to move them offset. So we need to move them so they'll cuddle the light pole and cradle. It looks better as well, like the other ones are over here. Now sometimes we will only wire one of these lights up. That doesn't matter. as long as one of them works. To get two of them going may draw a bit too much power through our circuit, or at low speeds on the train. If that's the case, we'll only run one light. We'll leave them together as two, as aesthetics. For when they're not running, they look good anyway. We're not too concerned if we have to do that. So that way we'd have one light there and one light there, which is still very good. You've got one light, the track will light up quite nicely with just one of these on, which is like these ones over here. So yeah, and over here we had that problem over here where we're running too many lights and they were too dim, so we wire them in that only one light works on each pole of the two. So we correct the problem like that. But that allows us to still run the nice lights as aesthetics, so as to look at. So the first thing we really have got to do is sandpaper the track. We've got to glue these on with hot melt as well. So, and I can do that, but before I do that, I'd like to test them, make sure they're working. You know, it's pretty bad when you put them on and you wire them up and they don't work, and you find out that they're blown or something. And to get them off hot melt undo is not very good. So the best thing to do is to test them first, so we'll do that now as well. And I need some voltage off the track to do that. So let's bring up 3.5 volts off the track. Now I'll do this over here because I'm here and I've got the control here. Once I've got 3.5 volts, and then it will sit like that. And I also want to know what's negative and positive. Nothing there at the moment. And the train's going to absorb some as well, because the train is still on the track. Ideally probably should take it off, but it doesn't matter that much. 1.5. 1.5. 2 volts. The train's going to move, which means I'll have to take it off. Okay, what we'll do is put the train in port, we'll have them take it off, which will isolate it. Alright, that'll do. Go put in forward, and now back to track power. 3.2, that'll do. Right, back in our seat over here, make sure we've got 3.2 volts here. Yep, exactly the same. Let's see what happens. Choose a red and a blue wire. Any two. Oh, look at that, that's much better. In fact, it's pretty bright. That one's working. That means these two are for those two. Now I'm just touching them, I'm not holding them on. Just touching them. Oh yeah, they're both working good. Now, because I haven't got any resistors as well in there, which is not that good, but these two are very bright, but if I wire these together, I want to see what happens. Because I've found some in a packet, you got some lights are better than others. In that I don't know whether they're burned a bit or they're just bad from the factory or what, but I have found very irregular. Some don't even work. Like one side works, the other doesn't. So I'm not too sure what to say about that. And this is why I've got to test them as well. And just twitching the wires together. If you're wondering what I'm doing over here, taking so long. Well, they're very small wires, and there isn't a lot to twist. They haven't given you very much to play with. And big fingers is what's going on here as well. So, now I've got them together. Now that one's come undone again, doesn't matter, I'll just have to try and hold it. Alright, very hard. Get those two on. Hold. And I've got to be able to see the lights. Yeah, they both work. Good, that's a good one. Right. This one's good. What we do now is we're up to hot melt. I think we should actually melt these on so that we can work with them. Now I think that hot melt might be hot enough. Yes, it is. So we've got to unplug it because it's not long enough, which you can do because it'll stay hot. Okay, so just simply grab one. Now we've got lights on this one, no lights on this one, lights on this one we need. So we just put it on this one. This carriage is in the way a little bit, but not really. Okay, so we need to put it right down the bottom, flush with the bottom there, and then we can glue that into the top. Yep. There. And then we're going to set that there, yeah. Put that in. Roughly where you want it. Wet your finger so it doesn't stick to the glue while you mould it into place. Yep, and a bit down here. You only need 2 bits. Like that, and another one over here. Okay, now that we've got an LED running down here, we've got the wiring sorted now. Our little transistor that we spoke about is working, so we will be heading down to Jayco and get some more of those at $4 or $5 each. I think they're $3.95 each in the book, and that's working very well. So I need to now wire the lights in, which is a simple matter of just joining up the white wires onto the appropriate circuit here that I've made, and I've got to install our one-way diode as well off the line, which I'll do. So I think you get the idea what's going on there. We have put the lights on. I'm just going to wire them like I said, and then next time you'll see those working. So I think that wraps it up for this time, and hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see these working next time. Bye for now.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and if you want to be notified of our future videos, hit the bell icon, which will let you know when we release new episodes.